So guys, while we have a second, why don't we do this? So I've been using a build to level up with, and again, I'm not the most seasoned Diablo player, but for me, this has worked really well. I think finding stuff that's kind of in layman's terms online is kind of tough. So I want to show you just a basic build that doesn't utilize mobs or golems or anything like that. You can just get up in the enemy's face, blow stuff up, and move on. And it's I don't want to say it's unkillable, but it's a really good build. And if you're smart with your health, I think you guys will enjoy it pretty good. So with the abilities to start off, I'm going to pull this into full screen so you guys can see it. And I'll pull this over here a little bit. So with the abilities to start off, we are going to be using predominantly shadow damage to do everything. So I am using Reap. To start off, you could just do one here to do it, and I think it'll be plenty. You're just basically trying to unlock Enhanced Reap, and then you also want to go over and use Acolyte's Reap as well. Reap forms a corpse under the first enemy hit. Can only occur every 5 seconds, but that gives you a corpse that we're going to use to explode down the road. So those ones are really good. If you have extra points, you could certainly dump it into Reap eventually, but just do 1 point there to start out. On Tree 2, there's a couple of them that you'll want to do. We're going to do Blight. Just do one on the Blight as well, because we're really trying to unlock Enhanced Blight, which is going to slow enemies by 25%, which is huge. And then we're also doing Supernatural Blight, which you and your minions deal 15% increased damage to enemies within a Blight, which is massive as well. We're also going into Sever. I maxed out Sever. I would do this ASAP because we're going to use Sever a lot. It does great damage once you have it maxed out. We're also going to be using Enhanced Sever, which is going to do damages enemies along its path for 25% of its initial damage. And then you've got a Paranormal Sever. Every 4th cast of Sever makes enemies vulnerable for 2 seconds. We're going to be trying to make them vulnerable as much as possible so we can get that bump in damage. We're also going to throw on Hewed Flesh. I would do this one a little bit more down the line. You could throw maybe one into this, but maxing it out is great down the line. Your damage has up to 12% chance to create a corpse at the target's location. And again, we're going to be doing corpse explosions, so having corpses around is great. Going down to the 3rd node here, we're going to be doing corpse explosion. Obviously, we're going to want to max this out if we can, and we're going to be doing enhanced corpse and blighted corpse. Corpse explosion becomes a darkness skill, and instead of exploding, releases a vile miasma dealing 824 shadow damage over 6 seconds. This is huge. I would say this is kind of like the bread and butter of the entire build, so if you guys can get this one unlocked. Below this here, we're going to be doing Grim Harvest. I would max that out when you can. If you have to just do one for now, you can, but I would max both these out. And Fueled by Death. You deal 9% increased damage for 6 seconds after consuming a corpse. Both of those are super important as well. Moving down to the 4th node. We're going to be doing Decrepify. Now, on this one, I would say get it up to like 4 out of 5. To me, that's kind of the sweet spot. You don't have to max it out. To start out, doing 1 is fine, but you really want to go Enhanced Decrep and Abhorrent Decrep. Lucky Hit. Enemies hit while afflicted with Decrepify have up to a 15% chance to reduce your active cooldowns by 1 second. We're going to be using this a lot within DPS and in mobs, so this is a really big one to use. Into the 5th node, we're going to be doing Reaper's Pursuit. We're also going to be doing Gloom. We're going to be doing Terror, and we're going to be doing Crippling Darkness. Now, all of these I would try to max out as soon as you can. I only have Gloom maxed out as of right now, but these are huge. Reaper's going to be damaging enemies with darkness skills, increases your movement speed by 5% for 3 seconds. Also, Gloom, when you damage enemies with darkness skills, they take 6% increased shadow damage from you and your minions for 2 seconds, stacking up to 3 times. Also, Terror, darkness skills deal 6% bonus damage to enemies who are slowed, and 6% bonus damage to enemies who are stunned or immobilized. These bonuses do stack and apply to shadow damage dealt by your minions. And then you've got Crippling Darkness, which gives you Lucky Hit. We want to try to proc this as much as possible. Darkness skills have up to 15% chance to stun for 1 second. So now down to the final 2 nodes here. I'm going with Bone Storm. This is awesome, honestly, because you're going to be up in enemy spaces anyways. This is a swirling storm of bones appears around you and your golem, dealing 1,226 to surrounding enemies over 10 seconds. And then we're also doing Prime Bone Storm, which is your damage reduction is increased by 15% while Bone Storm is active. That's going to lean into our survivability. And then we also have Supreme Bone Storm, which is your critical strikes chance is increased by 20% while Bone Storm is active. So those are really good ones to do there. In the last column here, we're going to be doing Shadow Blight. Shadow damage infects enemies with Shadow Blight for 2 seconds. You and your minions deal 10% bonus damage to enemies with Shadow Blight. Every 10th time an enemy receives shadow damage from you or your minions while they are affected by Shadow Blight, they take an additional 171 shadow damage. So that is kind of the basic gist of it. I think to start out, you know, just unlocking everything, just put 1 point into everything to start out, and then you can go back and start dumping it into other areas. I think the ones to level up the quickest are going to be Corpse Explosion. Also with Sever, I think those are the 2 key ones. I went back and started to put some more into Reap as well. I think that's a really good one to use for damage, because you're going to go in and do an initial swipe with Reap when you go into mobs. So that's a really good one as well. After that, I would probably go over to Decrepify and use that one. But yeah, I think this is a great, you know, solid build, base build that you can use within the game. I'm not really relying on armor. I mean, the armor that I do have on right now has some bonuses to this build, but you could just use this as a base build to help, you know, level up to level 50 if you don't have one on your Necro. Let's go grab those really quick, dude. So used to being full on this shit. I tried to save a Bone Storm as long as I could. It's a little bit weird using a build that doesn't have like an army with you, but I dig it, bro. On boss room. This is like a fucking bondage chamber. Holy shit, dude.
I'm out of essence.
I would love to be able to dash. It'd be nice.
I need more time.
Just want to keep blowing those corpses up if I can on him. Make sure you use Decrepify too. Hi, Gucci, man.
bags are full.
Bags are full, bro.